Have you ever felt the sting of someone laughing at you, not for what you've said, but for what you haven't? There's a strange power in silence that others often misunderstand. They interpret your quietness as weakness, your choice not to react as surrender. And in that moment of their smug laughter, it's easy to feel small, to doubt your own strength, and to wonder, should I have said something? Should I have fought back? But here's the truth they don't see, and one that you may not yet fully embrace. Your silence is not their victory. In fact, it's a strategic tool, one wielded by the wise and the strong. Stoicism teaches us that the power of restraint, of choosing when to speak and when to stay silent, is one of the greatest signs of self-mastery. And that's what we're going to uncover today. You see, there's a common misconception in our culture. We've been taught to equate loudness with power, noise with strength, and argument with triumph. The louder you are, the stronger you must be, right? Wrong. This belief only feeds insecurity and a need for constant validation. But what if I told you that the opposite is true? What if I told you that silence, calculated, deliberate silence, has the power to dismantle their mockery and shift the entire balance of power in your favor? In this video, we're going to challenge the idea that silence is weakness. Instead, we'll explore how silence can be your greatest ally, a way to take control of your emotions, your reactions, and ultimately your relationships. Through the lens of Stoicism, we'll unravel why they laugh, why they think they've won, and why they're wrong. By the end of this, you'll see how embracing silence can be transformative, not just in how you handle conflict, but in how you live your life. It's time to reclaim your narrative, master your emotions, and rise above the noise. Ready to explore this journey? Let's dive in. 1. The misinterpretation of silence. When they laugh at your silence, what are they really laughing at? Is it the soundlessness itself? Or is it the story they've told themselves about you in that moment? Their laughter reveals far more about them than it does about you. It's rooted in their assumptions, that you lack the courage to speak, that you're defenseless, or that you've already lost. But who gave them the right to define your silence? And more importantly, why should you let them? The first thing to understand is this: most people are uncomfortable with silence. In a world filled with noise, silence feels unnatural, even threatening. We've been conditioned to fill every gap with words, to always have a comeback, and to fight fire with fire. But Stoicism teaches us that silence is not emptiness. It's not absence. Silence is space. It's presence. It's the deliberate choice to pause, to observe and to act or not act from a place of strength. Think about the last time someone provoked you, expecting an immediate reaction. Maybe they insulted you in front of others, ridiculed your ideas, or questioned your capabilities. They laughed, thinking they'd cornered you. How did it feel in that moment? Did you want to fire back, to prove them wrong, to show everyone that you're not someone to be messed with? That's a natural reaction. But here's the thing: reacting in anger or haste gives them exactly what they want. It validates their belief that they can control you. What if instead you chose silence? What if you let their words hang in the air, heavy and unchallenged? Would their laughter grow louder, or would it falter under the weight of your calm? Silence has the power to disrupt, to unsettle, and to make others question their own certainty. It's not a lack of response, it's a deliberate act of defiance. But let's address the elephant in the room. Silence isn't easy. It requires an immense amount of self-discipline. In a society that glorifies quick comebacks and constant chatter, choosing to stay quiet can feel like swimming against the tide. Yet, it's in those moments of restraint that you begin to discover your true strength. Silence isn't about suppressing your voice, it's about saving it for when it matters most. It's about refusing to let others dictate your energy or your focus. Take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you allowed silence to work for you? Not the silence of avoidance, but the silence of strategy. Did it change the dynamic? Did it reveal something you hadn't noticed before? Silence isn't about inaction, it's about observation. And when you observe, you learn. You see the motives behind their laughter, the insecurities behind their taunts, and the cracks in their confidence. Think of the great leaders throughout history, those who mastered the art of silence. They didn't speak because they needed to be heard, they spoke because they had something worth saying. Their silence wasn't passive, it was powerful. And when they did speak, their words carried the weight of their wisdom, their experience, and their thoughtfulness. They weren't rushed, reactive, or scattered. They were deliberate, impactful, and unforgettable. Now let's bring this idea closer to home. In your Stoic relationships, whether with friends, family, or colleagues, how often do you let silence play a role? Do you feel the need to fill every quiet moment with words, or can you sit comfortably in the space between conversations? Silence, when used intentionally, can strengthen connections, foster understanding, and create an environment where authentic dialogue thrives. So the next time someone laughs at your silence, ask yourself, what are they really laughing at? Their laughter doesn't diminish you, it reveals them. It's not your job to correct their misunderstanding, nor is it your responsibility to prove your strength. Your silence is enough, and when the time comes, your voice will be enough too. In Stoicism, there's a profound lesson about control. Control what you can, and let go of what you cannot. Their laughter, it's outside your control. But your silence, that's entirely yours to wield. Embrace it, master it, and watch as it transforms not only their perception of you, but your perception of yourself. 2. The strength behind silence. Silence is often misunderstood. They laugh at you, assuming you're weak, defeated, or unsure of yourself. But what if silence wasn't a sign of submission, but a declaration of power? What if every quiet moment you hold is a choice to rise above, to master your emotions, and to take control of the situation? That's the strength behind silence, and it's something that few truly understand. Let me ask you this. Have you ever regretted staying silent? Perhaps you felt the itch to respond, the burning desire to defend yourself, only to realize later that your restraint saved you or saying something you'd regret. Now flip that scenario. How many times have you regretted speaking too quickly, blurting out words in anger or frustration only to wish you'd held back? The truth is, silence requires more strength than speech. It takes courage to hold your ground and resist the impulse to react, especially when provoked. But here's the thing, they don't see it that way. The world celebrates the loud and the flashy. Social media thrives on clapbacks, quick comebacks, and viral rants. The louder you are, the more attention you get, or so it seems. Yet, Stoicism teaches us that strength isn't measured by how much noise you make, but by how much control you have over yourself. And control begins with silence. Silence doesn't mean you don't have an answer. It doesn't mean you're unsure of yourself. In fact, it often means the opposite. It shows that you're secure enough in your own skin to resist the need for constant validation. When you stay silent, you reclaim your power. You refuse to play their game. You don't let their taunts or laughter dictate your actions. And that, my friends, is a level of strength that few ever reach. Now, think about this in the context of your life. How often have you let someone else's words control your emotions? How often have you felt the need to defend yourself, to prove them wrong, or to make them understand your side? And did it ever truly work? Did it make you feel stronger? Or did it leave you drained, frustrated, and even angrier than before? Here's the reality. Responding in anger or haste only gives them what they want. It shows that they've gotten under your skin. But when you stay silent, you deny them that satisfaction. You show them that their words have no power over you. And that's a lesson worth learning, not just for them, but for yourself. Silence doesn't just protect you from external conflict, it also shields you from internal turmoil. When you choose silence, you choose peace. You choose to let go of the need to control others' perceptions of you. You focus on what truly matters, your own growth, your own values, and your own sense of self-worth. But let's not sugarcoat this. Staying silent in the face of provocation isn't easy. It's a battle between your emotions and your reason, between your instincts and your discipline. Yet, every time you choose silence, you grow stronger. You prove to yourself that you're capable of mastering your reactions, no matter how much they try to provoke you. This is where Stoicism becomes a powerful guide. In Stoicism, the emphasis isn't on controlling others, but on controlling yourself. You can't stop someone from laughing at you, but you can choose how you respond. You can choose whether their laughter affects you or not. And the more you practice this, the more you'll realize that their mockery has no bearing on your worth. Now, let's address something important. Silence isn't about avoiding conflict. It's not about running away or pretending that nothing bothers you. It's about choosing your battles wisely. It's about saving your energy for the things that truly matter. Silence is strategic. It's a way to step back, observe, and decide your next move from a place of clarity and strength. And when you do speak, your words carry more weight because they come from a place of thoughtfulness, not impulsiveness. So how do you cultivate this strength? How do you become the kind of person who can stay silent in the face of provocation without feeling weak or powerless? It starts with mindset. You have to see silence not as a void but as a space where you can pause, reflect, and regain control. Silence is where you find your balance. It's where you remind yourself that you don't have to react to every insult, every taunt, or every misunderstanding. Here's an exercise for you to try. The next time someone provokes you, pause. Take a deep breath, count to 3, and ask yourself, do I need to respond to this? Will my words make a difference, or will they only fuel the fire? More often than not, you'll find that silence is the better choice. And when you choose silence, you choose peace for yourself and for the situation. In your Stoic relationships, whether with a partner, a friend, or a colleague, this principle becomes even more powerful. Silence allows you to listen, to understand, and to connect on a deeper level. It shows that you value their words enough to give them space, and it shows that you're secure enough in yourself to let the conversation unfold naturally. Silence, when used wisely, strengthens relationships and builds trust. But let's bring it back to you. How does this apply to your life, your struggles, and your challenges? How can you use the strength of silence to rise above the noise and reclaim your power? The answer lies in practice. Start small. Begin with the little moments when someone cuts you off in traffic, when a coworker makes a snide comment, or when a stranger online tries to provoke you. Choose silence. Choose peace. And notice how it changes the dynamic. Notice how it shifts the power back to you. Before we move on, I want to hear from you. Have you ever used silence to your advantage? Have you ever resisted the urge to react and felt stronger because of it? Drop a comment below and let me know your story. And if you're finding value in this, if this message resonates with you, hit that like button. It lets me know we're on the right track. In fact, type number 1 in the comments right now if you're with me on this journey. Let's see how many of you are ready to embrace the strength of silence. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started, and there's so much more to uncover about Stoicism, Stoic relationships, and how these principles can transform your life. By subscribing, you're not just supporting this channel, you're joining a community of like-minded individuals who are committed to growth, strength, and resilience. So let's continue to explore this together. Silence isn't just the absence of words, it's the presence of strength. And as we dive deeper, you'll see just how powerful that strength can be. 3. The power of observation in silence. When you embrace silence, you gain something that those who mock you often overlook: clarity. In their laughter, in their taunts, they reveal more about themselves than they realize. And while they're caught up in the sound of their own voices, you remain quiet, not because you don't have words, but because you choose to observe. Think about it. How often do people speak without thinking? How often do their words betray their insecurities, their fears, or their desires for control? Most people don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. But when you remain silent, you're not just abstaining from the noise, you're tuning in to something deeper. You're watching, learning, and seeing the truth beneath their words. Silence sharpens your perception. When you're not busy forming a reply, you can focus entirely on the other person. What do their words say about their character? What are they trying to achieve? What emotions drive their actions? In silence, you gather information that others miss because they're too busy talking. This is where the real power lies, not in what you say, but in what you notice. Consider a moment of conflict. Someone accuses you of something unfair or tries to provoke you in public. Their words are sharp, their tone calculated to elicit a reaction. The instinct is to fight back, to defend yourself immediately. But what if you didn't? What if you stood there, calm and composed, letting their words hang in the air? What do you think would happen? At first, they might take your silence as submission. They might grow louder, bolder, convinced they've won. But as you watch, you'll notice something remarkable. They begin to reveal themselves. Their words might contradict each other. Their confidence might waver. Or perhaps they'll say too much, exposing motives or weaknesses they didn't intend to share. This is the power of observation in silence. It disarms them while equipping you with valuable insight. This principle isn't new. Leaders, negotiators, and even military strategists have long understood the value of staying quiet to gather information. Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, famously wrote, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." Silence allows you to know both. It gives you the patience to see things clearly, to separate truth from deception, and to make decisions from a place of wisdom rather than emotion. But it's not just about understanding others, it's also about understanding yourself. In silence, you hear your own thoughts more clearly. You have space to reflect, to assess your emotions, and to determine what truly matters. Are you angry because of their words or because their words hit a deeper, unresolved nerve within you? Are you hurt by their actions or are you projecting past experiences onto the present moment? Silence gives you the room to ask these questions, to explore their answers, and to grow. Now think about this in the context of Stoicism. At its core, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. Silence is the perfect embodiment of this principle. You can't control what they say about you or how they laugh at your silence, but you can control how you respond or don't respond, and in that choice you find freedom. You detach yourself from their chaos, grounding yourself in reason and resilience. One of the most profound lessons in Stoicism comes from Epictetus, who said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you choose silence, you choose not to react impulsively. You choose to hold your power instead of handing it over to someone who seeks to provoke you. And as you observe, you realize that their actions are not about you, they're about them. Their laughter, their mockery, their need to assert dominance, it all stems from their own insecurities. Let's take a step further. Silence doesn't just benefit you in moments of conflict, it transforms how you approach relationships as a whole. In Stoic relationships, silence becomes a tool for connection. It allows you to listen, to truly listen, not just to the words being spoken, but to the feelings and intentions behind them. In those quiet moments, you create space for understanding and empathy. You allow others to feel seen and heard, not interrupted or dismissed. This is particularly powerful in intimate relationships. When a partner expresses frustration or hurt, the urge to defend yourself can be overwhelming. You might want to explain your side, to justify your actions, or to point out their flaws in return. But what if, instead, you stayed silent? What if you listened, not to respond, but to understand? That silence can open a door to deeper connection, fostering trust and mutual respect. Of course, silence isn't always easy. It can feel uncomfortable, even vulnerable, to say nothing when others expect a reaction. But it's in this discomfort that growth happens. Every time you choose silence over impulsive speech, you strengthen your discipline. You prove to yourself that you're not a slave to your emotions or to the expectations of others. You're in control of your own narrative. Let's return to the idea of observation. In silence, you see things as they are, not as you fear them to be. You're no longer clouded by anger, pride, or the need to win. Instead, you can assess the situation objectively. And in that clarity, you find solutions that you might have missed if you'd rushed to speak. This clarity is a gift. not just in moments of conflict, but in every aspect of life. It helps you navigate difficult conversations, make better decisions, and approach challenges with calm and confidence. Silence isn't just a pause, it's a powerful state of awareness. It's where you see what others overlook and hear what others miss. So the next time they laugh at your silence, let them. While they're busy reacting, you're observing. While they're caught up in their own noise, you're gaining insight. Their laughter doesn't weaken you, it strengthens you. It gives you the space to rise above, to see the bigger picture, and to act from a place of wisdom rather than impulse. In the end, silence isn't about proving anything to them. It's about proving something to yourself, that you are in control, that you are resilient, and that you have the strength to stand firm in the face of mockery or misunderstanding. And as you embrace this strength, you'll find that their laughter fades into the background, replaced by your own sense of peace and power. 4. The element of surprise. When silence speaks loudly. Silence has an extraordinary ability to create space, but it also carries an element of surprise, a kind of unpredictability that keeps others off balance. They laugh, thinking they've won, but as time stretches and no response comes, they begin to question their own assumptions. What you're doing is something far more profound than simply withholding words. You're allowing your silence to speak for itself. And when it does, it speaks volumes. Think about the psychology behind this. People expect reactions. It's human nature to crave responses, especially when we provoke or challenge someone. A heated argument, a snarky comment, or even laughter at your expense. All of these are designed to elicit something in return. When that doesn't happen, the dynamic shifts. Their confidence falters. Their control over the narrative begins to slip. Let's delve into a scenario. Imagine you're in a heated meeting at work. A colleague makes a dismissive remark about your idea, followed by a few chuckles from the room. The expectation is clear. You're supposed to defend yourself, fire back, or at least explain your position. But what if you didn't? What if you sat there calmly, letting the weight of their words linger in the air? Suddenly, the power shifts. The silence grows uncomfortable, not for you, but for them. Their laughter dies down. The room begins to notice the imbalance. That's the surprise of silence. It flips the script. This isn't just about making others uncomfortable. It's about using silence strategically to create a moment of reflection. When you don't respond immediately, you force others to sit with their own words. You give them the chance to question their actions, to wonder if they've overstepped, or even to reconsider their stance. In many cases, this silence can be more powerful than any rebuttal. But the element of surprise doesn't stop there. Silence also allows you to prepare. While they're busy reacting, you're planning. While they're caught up in the moment, you're thinking ahead. This is a lesson deeply rooted in Stoicism. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By staying silent, you maintain control over your mind and your emotions. You don't give in to their provocations, and in doing so, you remain firmly in control of yourself. Here's something fascinating. Silence isn't just an absence of words, it's a presence of intention. When you choose to remain silent, you're not disengaging, you're actively creating a space where possibilities can unfold. And when you finally do speak, your words carry more weight. They come from a place of clarity and deliberation, not from impulsive reaction. That contrast between silence and speech is what makes your voice so impactful when you decide to use it. Let me ask you, have you ever seen someone command a room without saying a word? Their presence alone creates an energy that draws people in. That's the power of silence. It's not passive, it's intentional. And it's something you can cultivate in your own life. But let's be honest, staying silent in moments of provocation isn't easy. It takes discipline and a deep understanding of your own worth. You have to believe that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You have to trust that your silence will speak for itself, even if it takes time. And you have to be patient enough to let the moment unfold without rushing to fill the void with words. This is where Stoicism becomes a powerful ally. Stoicism teaches us that our worth isn't determined by external validation, but by our internal values. When they laugh at your silence, they're operating under the belief that your response, or lack thereof, reflects your value. But in reality, it's your ability to stay calm, composed, and intentional that demonstrates your strength. And that strength doesn't require their acknowledgement. Now let's bring this idea into your relationships. How often have you been in a disagreement where both sides are so busy talking that no one is actually listening? In those moments, silence can be a game changer. By choosing not to respond immediately, you create a pause. You give the other person space to reflect on their own words, and you give yourself time to approach the conversation with clarity and purpose. This is particularly powerful in Stoic relationships where mutual respect and understanding are built on intentional communication. Silence also has a unique way of revealing truths. When you stay silent, you give others the opportunity to fill the void. And in doing so, they often reveal more than they intended. Maybe they say too much, exposing their insecurities or contradictions. Or maybe they realize, in the quiet, that their actions don't align with their intentions. Either way, your silence becomes a mirror, a tool for reflection that benefits both you and them. But let's address an important point. Silence isn't about avoidance. It's not about ignoring issues or pretending they don't exist. It's about choosing the right moment to engage. It's about ensuring that when you do speak, your words carry the weight of thoughtfulness and intention. And that's what makes silence so surprising. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. It transforms the expected into the unexpected. So how do you embrace this element of surprise in your own life? It starts with practice. The next time you find yourself in a situation where you're tempted to react, pause. Take a deep breath. Observe the moment. Ask yourself, is a response truly necessary right now? Or can silence serve me better? More often than not, you'll find that silence is the wiser choice. As you start incorporating this practice, you'll notice something remarkable. You'll feel more in control. You'll gain a deeper understanding of others and of yourself. And you'll begin to see silence not as a weakness but as a strength, a tool that allows you to navigate life with purpose and intention. If this resonates with you, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on how silence has played a role in your life. Have there been times when your silence surprised others or even yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you're finding value in this discussion, hit that like button and let me know by typing number 1 in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you're not just supporting the work we do here, you're joining a community that's committed to growth, resilience, and mastering the art of Stoicism. Together, we can continue exploring these transformative principles and applying them to every aspect of our lives. Your silence is powerful. It's unexpected. And when used with intention, it can change the way you approach challenges, relationships, and even yourself. Let's keep uncovering the incredible strength within us, one quiet moment at a time. 5. Turning their laughter into reflection. When they laugh at your silence, they believe they've won. But what they fail to realize is that laughter, especially when rooted in mockery, often reveals more about them than about you. It exposes their discomfort, their insecurities, and their need to assert control. And in that moment, your silence doesn't just remain a void, it becomes a mirror that forces them to confront their own behavior, whether they're ready for it or not. Let's consider the nature of mockery. Why do people laugh at others in the first place? Is it always because something is genuinely amusing? Or is it often because laughter is an easy defense mechanism, a way to deflect attention from their own flaws or insecurities? When someone mocks your silence, they're not just ridiculing your lack of response, they're filling a gap they can't comprehend. Silence unsettles them because it's unfamiliar, and the only way they know how to handle it is by laughing. But what happens when their laughter fades? What happens in the moments after, when your silence continues to linger, undisturbed by their mockery? That's when the reflection begins. Your refusal to react forces them to sit with their own behavior. It makes them wonder why they laughed in the first place, and whether their actions were justified. It's in this space of quiet reflection that true change can begin. This doesn't mean their realization will be immediate. People rarely have epiphanies on the spot, especially when caught up in the heat of the moment. But your silence plants a seed that grows over time as they replay the situation in their minds. Maybe they'll start to feel a twinge of guilt. Maybe they'll begin to question whether their laughter came from a place of confidence or insecurity. And maybe, just maybe, they'll realize that your silence wasn't weakness at all, but strength. Now, think about the power dynamics at play here. In the initial moment of their laughter, they might seem in control. They're the ones making noise, drawing attention, and appearing confident. But as the moment stretches on, the balance begins to shift. Their laughter, once bold, starts to feel hollow. And your silence, once underestimated, becomes the most commanding presence in the room. That's the beauty of turning their laughter into reflection. It transforms the entire narrative. But let's address an important question. Is this transformation guaranteed? Will every person who mocks your silence come to see the error of their ways? The answer, of course, is no. Not everyone is ready or willing to reflect on their actions. Some will continue to laugh, to provoke, and to misunderstand. And that's okay. Stoicism reminds us that we can't control others, we can only control ourselves. Your goal isn't to change them, is to remain true to your own values and principles, regardless of their reaction. In this way, your silence serves two purposes. First, it protects your peace. By refusing to engage in their mockery, you shield yourself from unnecessary conflict and negativity. Second, it offers them an opportunity to reflect, to grow, and to learn from the situation. Whether they take that opportunity is up to them, but your silence ensures that the door remains open. Let's bring this idea closer to home. In your relationships, how often have you seen someone's behavior change not because you told them they were wrong, but because they came to that realization on their own? This is especially true in Stoic relationships where mutual respect and personal growth are core values. By choosing silence over argument, you create space for the other person to reflect and adjust their actions without feeling attacked or defensive. This doesn't mean silence is always the answer. There are times when speaking up is necessary, especially when addressing harmful behavior or standing up for your principles. But even then, silence can play a powerful role. A pause before you speak, a moment of quiet reflection, can ensure that your words are measured, thoughtful, and impactful. It can turn a reactive outburst into a deliberate statement, one that carries far more weight and meaning. Here's an example. Imagine you're in a heated argument with a close friend or partner. Emotions are running high, and both of you are saying things you might later regret. What happens if you choose silence? What if, instead of firing back, you take a moment to pause, to breathe, and to let their words settle? In that silence, something shifts. The argument loses its intensity. Your partner might begin to reflect on their own words, realizing they've crossed a line. And when you do speak, your voice carries a calm authority that transforms the entire conversation. This is the transformative power of silence. It doesn't just protect your peace, it invites others into a space of growth. It challenges them to see things differently, to question their assumptions, and to approach situations with greater mindfulness. And even if they don't take that opportunity, your silence ensures that you remain grounded and true to yourself. As you embrace this practice, you'll begin to notice a remarkable change, not just in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. Their laughter, once intimidating, becomes irrelevant. Their mockery, once hurtful, loses its sting. You realize that their opinions don't define you, and their reactions don't control you. Your silence becomes a source of strength, a reminder that your worth isn't tied to their approval. This shift in perspective is at the heart of Stoicism. It's about letting go of what you can't control and focusing on what you can. When they laugh at your silence, they're trying to pull you into their chaos. But when you stay silent, you remain anchored in your own peace. You refuse to let their noise disrupt your calm, and in doing so, you reclaim your power. So the next time someone laughs at your silence, remember this. Their laughter is temporary, but your strength is enduring. Let them laugh. Let them misunderstand. Your silence isn't for them, it's for you. It's a testament to your discipline, your resilience, and your commitment to living with intention. And whether they realize it or not, your silence holds a mirror to their behavior, offering them a chance to grow. As you carry this lesson forward, Think about the moments in your life where silence can become a tool for transformation. Where can you create space for reflection, for yourself and for others? How can you use silence to protect your peace and encourage growth? These are the questions that will guide you as you continue to embrace the power of silence in your journey towards self-mastery. 6. The art of choosing when to break the silence. Silence is powerful, but like any tool, its impact depends on how and when you use it. There comes a moment when silence must end, when the time is right to speak and your voice must carry the weight of all that has remained unspoken. This is the art of choosing when to break the silence, an art rooted in self-awareness, wisdom, and purpose. Let's start by asking, when is silence no longer enough? When does holding your tongue stop being a strength and start becoming an avoidance? The answer lies in your intention. Silence serves its purpose when it's deliberate and strategic, when it allows space for reflection or observation. But there are times when speaking up becomes a moral imperative, when your words are needed to bring clarity, set boundaries, or defend a principle. Recognizing these moments is part of mastering the balance between silence and speech. Think of your silence as the pause before a powerful crescendo. If you've ever listened to an orchestra, you know the silence between notes is just as important as the music itself. It builds anticipation, creates space for the melody to breathe, and amplifies the impact of what comes next. Similarly, when you choose to speak after a deliberate silence, your words gain a force they wouldn't have otherwise. They become the crescendo, the statement that resonates because of the silence that preceded it. Now imagine this in real life. Let's say someone has been testing your patience, pushing boundaries, or misunderstanding your intentions. You've stayed silent, observing, waiting, letting their words and actions unfold. But now, the moment comes when silence alone won't resolve the situation. You need to speak, not to react, but to respond. And when you do, your words, grounded in clarity and conviction, have the power to change the entire dynamic. This is where Stoicism offers invaluable guidance. The philosophy teaches us to act with purpose, not from impulse. When you break your silence, it shouldn't be to defend your ego or prove someone wrong. It should be to serve a greater goal, whether that's resolving a conflict, asserting your boundaries, or bringing understanding to a misunderstanding. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Sometimes being that person means breaking your silence with words that embody integrity and strength. The timing of your words matters. Silence allows you to reflect and understand the situation fully, ensuring that when you speak, your message is thoughtful and precise. Rash words spoken in haste often create more problems than they solve, but words spoken with intention have the opposite effect. They bring clarity, resolution, and sometimes even transformation. Think about this in the context of Stoic relationships. In a meaningful relationship, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, communication is essential. Silence can be a powerful tool, but it should never replace dialogue entirely. There will be moments when you need to express your feelings, clarify your expectations, or address an issue that silence alone cannot solve. The key is to approach these conversations with the same deliberate thoughtfulness that defines your silence. Speak not to win an argument, but to build understanding and strengthen the bond. Here's an example. Imagine a close friend has hurt you, perhaps unintentionally. You've stayed silent, giving yourself time to process your emotions and understand the situation. But now, the silence has stretched too far. It's beginning to create distance, to build walls instead of bridges. This is the moment to break your silence, not with accusations or anger, but with honesty and vulnerability. By speaking, you open the door to healing and resolution. Breaking your silence isn't just about timing, it's also about delivery. How you say something matters as much as what you say. A calm, composed tone carries far more weight than words spoken in frustration. When you choose to speak, do so with confidence and kindness. Let your words reflect the strength you've cultivated through your silence. In this way, your voice becomes an extension of your self-control and your inner peace. Let's take a moment to reflect. How often have you spoken too soon and regretted it? How many times have your words, spoken in haste, created more harm than good? Now contrast that with the times when you paused, reflected, and spoke only when you were ready. Which approach had a greater impact? The truth is, words spoken at the right time, with the right intention, can achieve far more than endless chatter ever could. As you embrace this principle, you'll begin to notice a shift in how others perceive you. Your silence will command respect, and your words will carry weight. People will listen, not because you speak often, but because when you do, your message is meaningful. This is the essence of Stoicism: to live with purpose, to act with intention, and to communicate with clarity. Now let's bring this lesson back to you. In your daily life, how can you master the art of breaking silence? Start by asking yourself 3 questions whenever you feel the urge to speak. Is this the right moment to speak? What is my goal in speaking? How can I communicate my message effectively and respectfully? These questions will help you align your words with your values, ensuring that when you break your silence, you do so with impact. Before we close, let's reflect on how this ties into the larger journey of self-mastery. Silence and speech are 2 sides of the same coin. To master one, you must understand the other. Your ability to remain silent shows your strength. Your ability to speak wisely shows your wisdom. Together, they form a powerful combination that can transform your relationships, your decisions, and your life. If this resonates with you, I encourage you to take action today. Reflect on the moments when you've chosen silence and the moments when you've chosen to speak. What have you learned from each experience? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your insights. And if you're finding value in this discussion, show your support by hitting the like button. Type number 1 in the comments if you're ready to embrace the art of silence and speech. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you're not just following along, you're becoming part of a community committed to growth, resilience, and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Together, we can continue to explore these principles and apply them to every aspect of our lives. 7. Reclaiming the narrative. As we draw this journey to a close, let's revisit the power of silence and the strength it gives you in reclaiming your narrative. When they laugh at your silence, they believe they've won. But the truth, as we've uncovered, is far more profound. Your silence is not their victory. It is your triumph. It's a demonstration of self-control, resilience, and the ability to choose your actions rather than being ruled by your emotions. Silence, as we've seen, is a tool for reflection, observation, and transformation. It allows you to step back, detach from the chaos, and see the bigger picture. It gives you the space to assess your values, prioritize your peace, and act from a place of purpose rather than impulse. And in a world that often equates noise with power, your choice to remain quiet becomes a radical act of strength. But this is about more than just managing conflict or deflecting mockery. It's about how you live your life, how you approach relationships, decisions, and challenges. Silence teaches you patience, fosters understanding, and strengthens your ability to navigate even the most difficult situations with grace. It reminds you that you are not defined by the opinions of others or the provocation of the moment. You are defined by your choices, and silence is one of the most powerful choices you can make. As we explored, silence isn't about avoidance or weakness. It's about creating space for growth, both your own and that of others. When they mock you, they reveal themselves. And in your silence, you reveal your strength. You create a mirror that reflects their behavior back to them, offering them the opportunity to reflect and grow. Whether they choose to do so is beyond your control, but the act of offering that space is a testament to your wisdom and resilience. Silence also empowers you to reclaim your narrative. When you resist the urge to react, you take control of the story. Their laughter no longer dictates your actions or defines your worth. Instead, your response, or lack thereof, shifts the focus back to you and the values you stand for. You become the author of your own story, not a character reacting to someone else's script. In Stoic relationships, this principle becomes even more powerful. Silence, when used intentionally, strengthens connections and deepens understanding. It allows you to listen, to empathize, and to approach conflict with clarity and compassion. It shows that you value the relationship enough to pause, to reflect, and to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This kind of intentional communication builds trust and fosters mutual respect, creating a foundation for lasting connection. And yet, silence is only part of the equation. Knowing when to break your silence, when to speak with purpose and conviction, completes the cycle. Your voice used wisely carries the weight of your experience and reflection. It has the power to transform, to resolve, and to inspire. The balance between silence and speech is where true mastery lies. As you carry these lessons forward, remember this: the world may laugh at your silence, but it cannot diminish your strength. Your silence is a choice to rise above, to remain grounded, and to stay true to yourself. It's a reminder that you are in control of your emotions, your actions, and your narrative. And in a world filled with noise, that control is a rare and remarkable gift. So the next time someone laughs at your silence, let them. Their laughter is fleeting, but your strength endures. Trust in the power of your quiet confidence. Trust in your ability to observe, to reflect, and to act with intention. And trust that in reclaiming your narrative, you are creating a life of purpose, resilience, and authenticity. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Embrace that strength, live it, and let your silence speak louder than their laughter ever could. As we conclude, let's take a moment to reflect on the profound journey we've just undertaken together. They laugh at your silence, believing they've won, but in truth, they misunderstand the depths of your strength. Silence is not surrender, it is a deliberate choice, a powerful act of self-control, and a testament to your wisdom and resilience. In your silence, you create space to observe, to understand, and to rise above the noise. You master your emotions and refuse to be drawn into conflicts that serve no purpose. You reclaim your narrative, grounding yourself in the values that define you rather than letting the laughter or opinions of others dictate your worth. Your silence disarms, disrupts, and ultimately transforms the dynamic, showing that strength isn't found in shouting but in stillness. Yet silence is only one side of the equation. Knowing when and how to speak, after thoughtful reflection, gives your words unparalleled power. This balance between silence and speech, between patience and action, is the mark of true mastery. It's what allows you to navigate relationships, challenges, and life itself with grace and clarity. The world may not always understand the strength in silence. They may continue to laugh, to mock, or to misunderstand. But that's not your concern. Your focus is on staying true to yourself, on embracing the principles of Stoicism, and on living with intention. Their laughter is fleeting, but the inner peace you cultivate through silence and self-mastery is enduring. So as you move forward, let your silence be a source of strength and wisdom. Trust in its power to protect your peace, to guide your actions, and to illuminate your path. And remember, the most profound victories are often the quietest, unfolding not in the noise of the moment, but in the calm clarity of your resolve. Thank you for sharing this time with me and exploring the transformative power of silence. Carry these lessons with you and let them guide you in moments of challenge and growth. May your silence speak louder than words and your strength shine brighter than their laughter.